Welcome back to The Middle Ground. I'm your host, Key, and we're reporting live from the Honey Queen Juice Bar. Welcome back to The Middle Ground. Oh, so this next topic is one that is really interesting, and it's because it has so many different opinions, and this is black male accountability. And in particular, and we may have to do a part 2 of the show, I would love to have more men present, but we do have 2 men present, and I'm going to start with the 2 men on the show when it comes to black male accountability, and more importantly, friends, right? So there's this well-known, or it may or may not be well-known, that a lot of times in a group of friends, it is guy code to where if there's 1 or 2 guys in a group, fuck dudes as they say, right? If they have 2 or 3 dudes that are out of place in the group, normally the other dudes that may not be as far out as those other 2 dudes, they normally are not going to check those other 2 dudes because they the homies. They cool. I've known him since I was younger. I grew up with him. Woo, 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 woo. I'm not that cool with him. He just spent money with me, whatever. But a lot of times we have these toxic unions, these toxic friendships within we're talking about within black male culture, right? To where you have a homeboy who you know who may not be taking care of his kids. You have a homeboy you know that may be beating his girl or cheating on his girl. You have a homeboy you know that just may not be doing the right thing or who could be doing more in the community. And you ask yourself, where is there black male accountability? Now, the reason why we have to call this out is because when it comes to women gonna call other women out. Now, y'all can say what y'all want, and people can dispute, and people there can. I see y'all grinning and y'all moving. Come forward, you feel me? I swing to the left, I swing to the right. Okay, I can back up what I'm saying. Women, I would say that there's more of an accountability culture amongst women than amongst men. If a woman knows that her girl is doing something ratchet or low down or dirty, not all, of course, but I would say there is a better majority of women who's going to check that girl like, you can't hang with us until you get that shit together. You can't hang with us until you get these things in line, or we're not going to mess with you. Whereas a group of guys will still interact with their homeboy knowing that he's not on his P's and Q's. The nigga don't have no job, nothing in line. He ain't taking care of his kids. He dusty, dirty, low down, and his breath stink. He's doo-doo. So, am I lying? Or am I about to start flying? Let's go.
All right, so I think it has a lot to do with circles.
Okay.
Depends on your circle. Okay. My crew, my circle, we are accountable for each other.
Okay.
All my bros take care of their kids. They not beating up on their wives or their significant others. And I'm proud of my circle, my friends, and we've been like that for a while. Now, I've seen circles where brothers are not accountable, and I think that that's a very serious issue, because we need to be able to step outside of our circle. Like, I need to be able to walk down the street and see something not right, like, hey, and step into a situation without fearing for my life, you know?
Absolutely.
Because it comes to that these days.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's a real important topic, and it's a deep topic. But I think there is a lot of black men who don't check other black men when they do things in their circles for whatever reason, you know.
So what you're basically saying is that you agree that it is a culture of our community, there's lacking in black male accountability between black men. Because
our culture, period, I think. Our culture, period.
What do you mean?
Not just black men, black women. And I know this is the discussion is on black men, so we'll leave it at black men. But I think it's kind of overall. And I mean, we can see it. Like, I keep bringing up like music, TV, all of this type of stuff, because all of that plays a role.
I'm going to have to challenge you for a minute.
Okay.
Why do you say that it's in the community and not just amongst black men?
Because black women do it also.
How so?
How do they do it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would only be speaking from...
No, speak from your experience.
If I was dating somebody and we're in a serious relationship, the girl's cheating, her friends are still hanging around her or whatever, you know, I'm just using a light example because I can't think of anything heavy, but that's just light. That's just a light example. Or,
hold on.
I can't, right. I think of something. Let this brother out of the floor. I think of something.
Nah, that's what he said. Like, so my ex, right? She's surrounded by nothing but yes people. They always tell her yes to everything. So she's never in the wrong.
Okay.
So basically, like, I'm always like, when you're surrounded by yes people, they don't hold you accountable.
Okay.
And her whole circle is nothing but females, nothing but women, I should say. Prosperous and successful women too.
Okay.
So, but they never hold her accountable for our breakups, or our arguments, or our disagreements. So that's one thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Just since we on black women now, I figured I might say one or two things. See, why do you gotta make that assumption? See, this why we can't get along.
Right.
See, this one is right. I actually want to. I want to touch on what my brother here just said, and I agree. I think it's about circles. I think that in certain circles of black women, we do hold each other accountable. The circles that I roll with, we hold each other accountable. We gonna be like, yo, you don't think that was At the same time, I have witnessed and been rejected from a number of circles of black women where there is no accountability, and rather than accountability, there's support of negative and dysfunctional behaviors. It's like, oh, you want to get this nigga? Well, here's how we can really get him. And it's like, rather than saying, rather than saying, yo, this is way out of line, or you've been in that circle.
No, I haven't. Now here's the thing. I haven't been in those circles, but I'm talking about the culture, the general culture.
And that's what I'm saying.
And I'm thinking that the general culture for black women is not that.
That's not true. If you look at the media, look at social.
I'm gonna have to push.
Look what we follow.
I'm gonna have to push back on that. I'm gonna say that part of it is media. But I'm going to say that when we say that black men accountability, the reason why we speak to black men is because black men are the leaders of our communities. And as the leaders of our communities, the things that they do are the things, and this isn't to separate to say that, oh, one over the other or anything, but we're just talking about impact. When it comes to men's behaviors in a society where men compete against men for power, for resources, for dominance, the things and the focus and whatever it is that the man have going on is really, really, really important. So that's what I'm saying. In this particular case, a black male accountability. I'm sorry, I almost lost my train of thought. In this particular case, black male accountability is important because when a man makes a move or when a man decides to do something, it impacts the community more as opposed to when a woman. That's what I'm trying to say.
I gotta push back against you on that one.
Okay.
First point I'll say is that images shape our reality. Even though this is what the media is portrayed, that's what the children are looking at and growing up and emulating. And that's why if you look at the generation underneath us, their relationships is crazy. And you're like, whoa, where'd you learn how to do that? Why are y'all fighting, throwing stuff, screaming, all this stuff? And it's because they were raised watching TV. And on the other part of what you said, I will say that it's a statistic that the majority of our households are single mother households, which means that these black men and these black women coming up are being raised by women. So yes, black male accountability is very important, and it is something that does affect our entire community, but that's not to say that black woman accountability is not equally important, and we can't just separate the two. Accountability overall is important. And back to the original point, I would definitely again have to reiterate that there are certain circles, there's levels to this shit. And if you're operating on this level, you gonna attract and fuck around and be around people who are operating on this level. If you operating on this level, that's who you're gonna be around. If you operate on this level, that's who you're not gonna see Jay-Z out here in these streets fucking around with these niggas.
I agree.
So.
No, I agree with you guys say circles, but I'm talking about outside of circles. We're talking about just like in general. We're talking about the general culture of our community. There's a general culture of our communities. For example, we know the general culture of our community is unfortunate, but it's broken homes. It shouldn't be that way. It wasn't that way up until most recently, but it has become a part of our culture to where like broken homes and this and that. The 70% of the house homes are led by black women. All of that has become unfortunately a part of our culture under the system of white supremacy and destabilizing our communities and things like that. So I understand what you're saying, like, because like I said, in my particular circles, we definitely hold each other accountable. I don't get too much in my girl's business. I mean, you know.
But that's also part of not holding accountability.
Well,
Like that's your business.
Right, that's your business.
You over there.
I didn't see it.
It is.
I didn't see it.
It is, but it depends. But see, it depends on what the business is. It depends on what the business is, because obviously, you're my friend. Up until a certain point, you're going to include me in your business. There's certain things that I just don't know about you. But most of my friends, the things that they have shown to me, we're friends because those things that they have exposed me to, I'm okay with those things. Those things make sense to me. But like you said, those are in my particular circles. But I am aware of what's going on in the larger society and the larger community. And what's reflective in my circles is not what's reflective in the larger society and the larger communities. And I know that because, like you said, of what we see on TV. But not just that, but what I see when I step out in my day-to-day, when I walk out in my door.
Right.
I know that the people in my particular circles is not reflective in my community. And that's what I'm talking about. So when I'm talking about black men accountability is that what is the mechanism that is in place? Yes, black women are raising black men. We're raising these, but it's just like somebody may say, okay, well, why is this woman raising this boy by herself to begin with? Who told the father to leave his child? Who told the father to leave this woman a single mother? Because that's on the other side of the single parent conversation, is that a woman does not become a single mother on her own.
It's two sides.
It's two sides.
Right.
A man decides to leave his child. Even if he say, oh, she's putting me through all this trouble, this and that. So what, dude? Fight her. Take that bitch to court. Do what you have to do to get your child. You have rights as a father if you really want to put yourself out there. And men who really want to, they take that ass to court.
Check this out. I got a brother going through that right now. Every court visit, everything. No. He can't be with his child. He tried to marry the one. He went through the whole thing. So his child, they're co-parenting, and it's definitely going to impact the child. But he did everything he was supposed to do. Counseling, every anger management. He didn't even have any anger issues, nothing. But she told the court he has anger issues. And he didn't even have any anger issues, never had any anger issues. So I see it from a whole different perspective because I've been in most of the court dates with him, being supported with him. He's got letters from the university, he went to everything. It was like nothing he could do. Just because he's 6'3", he's black, it was like nothing he could do. So it's a rough situation. So a lot of times when I hear the man left, I know he could have left, possibly, but it could be some other situations in there too that we're not privy to.
Yeah, I want to
He
piggyback.
could have got put out.
He could have got put out. He could have been incarcerated.
Right.
There's a lot of situations that remove that circumstances that cause black men to be removed from the home. I do want to agree with my brother right here and say that the child welfare system is definitely stacked against black men. And I've been in the same situation of supporting a brother as he goes through this process. Mother ain't showing up to the visitations, refusing to do the mediation. Court, go to court, the judge gives an order, just ignore and don't follow the order. So you go back to court and the judge says, okay, well, we'll give you more time. Years have passed and this person has not seen their child. And it's just tolerated and leaded, and on top of that, outside of the court, there now is taunting. Outside of the court, there now is attempts to throw this person off their game. There's now attempts to agitate and provoke this person, and all of this is documented, brought to the court, and the response is, okay, well, we'll give her another chance. So I hear what you're saying, that yes, you if you choose to create a child and bring a child into this world, you need to fight for this child. On the other side, I will say that a lot of black men are fighting the mother for their child instead of fighting this world that already puts so much oppression on us. I do think that it is critical that it's understood that as black women, we cannot understand the struggles that black men go through. We may be black people, but their lives and the way that they have to move through the world and everything that they experience is beyond what we can even understand or imagine. In the same way that our lives and what we experience and how we have to go through the world is beyond what they can understand or imagine. And the issue is not that they need to see from our perspective or that we need to see from their perspective. The issue is that we need to understand that we're not against each other. It's us together moving forward. I would also like to say that I think it is unreasonable to expect grown men who, as young men, did not have examples of strong black manhood to magically grow up and all of a sudden exhibit these traits that we want to see. And I do think that it goes back to what we were saying about society looking at young black boys as grown men. I think clearly it affects all of us, and even we as a people look at these young black boys and look at them as grown men. So when you get a group of grown men together and they're all the same age, but they're looking at their homies like, that's a grown man, that's what men do, or that's a grown man, that's what men do. So then when they start exhibiting this untoward behavior, there's this hesitation to cut them out or call them out on it because you still feel like a child,
Right.
and this person looked like an adult.
Okay, so when it comes to black male accountability, what are some solutions? It really goes back to what you said about the rites of passage, because it all goes back to that. If there was that rites of passage and there was some type of structure or rubric as how this is how you act and behave when you get into this age, and when you get around women, or when you get around certain people. Like you said, because we have been taken away from our culture and we have not yet replaced it, we've been basically going off of this plantation culture, this bastardized version of, like you said, living in this state of lack, living in this state of disparity all this time. Like Nipsey said, we've been basically just surviving in this state of survival. So we have not been able to recreate anything beautiful. We've kind of just created everything out of scarcity. I don't know, I just found that, when there is no accountability among black men, it could be very toxic. I mean, what do you have to say?
Put it like this, me as a grown man, or as a man, if I try to check another nigga, a grown man, about being accountable for something he did, that goes up and get my ass whooped, a bullet.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the problem though. Why? Why is that?
Because it's testosterone, it's ego.
Ego.
And niggas be tripping. and I want to say in the realest sense of the word, like, niggas be under the influence of mind-altering substances and don't even know it. I know niggas who go for days without drinking water.
What?
Yes, Gatorade, juice, Kool-Aid, and what we don't realize is that there's a lot of neurochemicals inside of the things that we consume, inside of the things that are pushed into our neighborhood that literally change your mind, literally change your brain. Things that you wouldn't be reacting to normally like that, all of a sudden you up here with it. So I agree with what he's saying.
And that's what I'm saying. So
And that's why you got to use products with all natural ingredients like honey queen.
yes. Yes, you definitely do. Stay thirsty.
Thirsty.